Hi friends, this is Tammy at the library. Welcome to Story Time. We will be reading about bees today, and then we will be doing a bumblebee craft. Our first book is called Honeybees. Bees buzzing through a warm afternoon, the little worker bee dips into colorful flowers again and again and again. From each flower, she collects a sweet liquid called nectar. She sips the runny nectar through her straw-like tongue and stores it in a special just for honey tummy. Flower pollen dusts the bee like fluffy golden snow. Every once in a while she stops, rolls the pollen into balls, and stuffs these into little tiny sacks on her legs. When the bee is so heavy with nectar and pollen that she can barely fly, she heads home to the hive. Thousands of other workers are arriving home too. Inside the hive, the air hums with excitement. Bees bustle to and fro. The whole colony works together for its queen. As long as she is safe and healthy, so is the hive. Worker bees bring her food and carry out her waste. They fan their wings to keep the hive cool. One of the most important jobs in the hive is caring for the queen's many eggs. Through spring and summer, she lays up to 2,000 eggs per day. She wiggles her abdomen down into a honeycomb and drops each egg into its own six-walled cell. An egg's shell melts away and hello, larva. The chubby baby looks nothing like a bee yet. For 3 days, the larva is fed a milky mush called royal jelly. Then it is switched to a honey pollen mixture called bee bread. Finally, a honeybee chews open its cocoon and climbs out of its cozy cell. Ta-da! Honeybees keep their hive clean and neat. So the new bee's first job is to clean her room. Hives can be found in unusual places. Many honeybees live in human-made hives. A beekeeper opens a hive to remove part of the sticky golden honey. Yum! Hope you find a lot of lovely flowers. All right, that's a book called Honeybees. We will read one more book called The Very Greedy Bee. In a busy, buzzy beehive lived a very greedy bee. All the other bees worked hard making honey and cleaning the hive, but the greedy bee spent all day gobbling pollen and guzzling nectar. Slurp, slurp, burp. The greedy bee wouldn't share his nectar with anyone. He wouldn't even let a tired ladybug sit on his flower. "Find your own flower," he shouted. "This is mine." And when one day the greedy bee found a meadow full of the biggest, juiciest flowers he had ever seen, he decided not to tell anyone. "Yummy," he buzzed. Lots of flowers. And they're all for me." The greedy bee whizzed and bizzed from flower to flower, slurping and burping and growing fatter and fatter and fatter. At last his tummy was full, and he settled down on a big pink flower in the warm yellow sunshine and fell fast asleep. When the greedy bee woke up, it was dark. He tried to fly, but his tummy was so roly and pulley that he went down instead of up and crashed, biff, bang, thump, to the ground. "I'm scared," cried the greedy bee, "and I don't know how to get home." Then he saw two glowing eyes in the long grass. "Eek!" he cried, "a monster is coming to eat me." But it wasn't a monster. It was two friendly fireflies, their bottoms glowing in the dark. "What's wrong?" they asked. "I'm too full to fly," wailed the greedy bee, "and I can't walk home in the dark." "Follow us," said the fireflies, and they all set off on the long, long journey home. Through the forests of flowers and squishy mud, over the hills and under the stars, trudged the greedy bee. He had never walked so far, and he was very tired. "Nearly there," called the fireflies. They heard the whoosh of running water. "I'm almost home," cried the greedy bee excitedly. "It's the stream." And it was, but his hive was on the other side of it. "Oh no," said the greedy bee, sadly flopped down on the grass. "How will I ever get across?" "We'll help," said a tiny ant with a big leaf. The big ant and his friends flipped the big leaf into the water. "Jump on," they cried. Helped by the fireflies, the greedy bee and the ants made their way splishing and splashing to the other side of the stream. "Hooray, I'm home," cheered the greedy bee. "Where have you been?" asked the other bees. "I overslurped," said the greedy bee. "I would never have made it home if my new friends hadn't been so kind. Now I'm going to share my best honey with them. Would you like some too?" "Yes," said the other bees. "Let's have a party." Everyone enjoyed a midnight feast of yummy, runny honey, all except for one very sleepy, very happy, but not so greedy bee. So there's our story, The Greedy Bee. Now we have a bumblebee craft, and this is what our bumblebee is going to look like. Let's see, I'll pull it back just a little bit. In your craft kit, you should have a toilet paper roll, some black and yellow construction paper. There's your papers. A wing template. There's your wing. A circle for your bee's head. Tissue paper. There should be two little round circles of tissue paper. A pipe cleaner. Googly eyes. Two little eyes. And you will need some glue. You'll have some glue in your kit. And you will probably need some scissors and something to write with. A black marker or crayon or colored pencil. These items are not included in your kit. Okay, let's get started. First, we're going to wrap the yellow paper around the toilet paper roll and then glue it into place. If you don't like the glue, I am actually going to use some tape because the glue takes a little bit to dry. And for the sake of the video, I'll just tape it on and that way it stays. So we have the yellow paper wrapped around the toilet paper roll. Next, You can cut your black paper into strips. You can cut, I'm going to cut right down the middle and make 2 strips. But if you would like 3 strips, you can cut the paper thinner and just make 3 strips. You can glue this on as well. Again, I am going to tape it on just so that I don't have to wait for my glue to dry. And you can use, if you have tape at home, you can use tape as well if you'd prefer to use tape rather than the glue. Okay, so I have my strips on. Now it is time to glue the eyes onto the bee's head. Find where I want them. Put a little dot of glue and place my eye there. Same with the other side. And then we can make a little smiley face with your marker or color crayon or colored pencil. If you use a marker, it's going to be nice and dark. If you use a colored pencil, it may be a little bit lighter. And then if you would like some cheeks, you can put a tiny bit of glue on and pop your cheek into place. Now it will be time to glue your head on. You could put just a dab of glue on the bee's body and just hold your head, hold the bee's head into place. You might have to hold it for a minute so it stays. Next, you will cut out your wing, which I've done. I cut my wing out already, and we're going to glue, just put a strip of glue down the middle and glue that to the back. Glue that right to the back of your bee. Our bee is almost done. Now we can cut the antennas. We can just cut this right in half, and you can roll one end of it to create an antenna and roll the end of the other. And we have 2 to put into place right behind your bee's head. So that is our story time and craft for today. Join us again for story time next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.